paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Brainstorm Brewery. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined this week by two other people, but it's a surprise, too, because we like to keep things fresh around here. Hey, things are always shaking up around Magic and around Brainstorm Brewery. Anyways, this week's special guest is on. I've got DJ as well as DJ's wife, Emily. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be back.
A veteran of the Wife Cast, if anyone remembers that bit of Brainstorm Brewery lore.
I don't
Many
know
years
if people would remember that because that was, 2018? And
Something like that.
like,
Yeah.
if we factor in the age of our listeners who would have died of COVID over the pandemic, then, like, it's a pretty fresh start. You get to,
Wow.
like, just be yourself and no one knows who you are because
DJ,
all of our listeners have died of COVID or old age
yeah,
since then.
DJ
We
doing
did
the
have
math.
We did have somebody in Hartford who told me they had been listening for as long as I'd been on the cast,
That's pretty long.
and they looked like they were 18, and I asked how old they were, and they said 18, and I said that's not okay.
That's that is. Wait, that's really true.
I was about to say, that's
That-
almost 10 years.
I was gonna say, like, what is that? Like 6, 7 years? 10
No,
years.
it's like 9 years.
That's a long
That
time.
it all just boils down to poor parenting, really.
Well, they're at a Magic tournament, so. I mean, Magic's a great game that we should all aspire for our children to play. At the SCG over the weekend, I don't know. Well, actually, I say I don't know if you all saw this. I don't know if Emily saw this. I know DJ saw this. There was a cheater who got caught. This is a CEDH player
Corbin was.
Who was, yes. A CEDH player who drove a long way or flew along, whatever, paid money to come to the 10K or 5K or whatever that is held at every SCG con. And for reference, I don't know if it was Minneapolis or Hartford. I think it might have been Hartford, actually. The 5K or 10K, whatever, SCG CEDH event had 150-something people registered in it. The largest sanctioned event in history, right? And I say sanctioned because they're not playing with 20 allowed proxies or all proxy tournament. Think about the collection of money in those CEDH decks, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the baseline. I watched 2 people get DQ'd in that tournament for having counterfeits. Fast forward to this last weekend. A player gets DQ'd for having counterfeits. Takes to the interwebs and says, I got DQ'd for being too based. AMA. And
Corbin,
then
you forgot the rest of the quote, which is, being anti-proxy is so stupid. I will die on this hill. I want to play against you and not your wallet. Exclamation point, vape emoji, sunglasses emoji.
How
Thank
old
you.
are they?
I couldn't-
regardless,
they looked
I
about
need to slap them.
35, 30s, 40.
Oh, that deserves more than just a slap. That's a good.
It was,
joke.
it wasn't great. So not a great tweet, which might explain why they deleted the tweet. However,
Good.
I have to shout out DJ for putting this tweet to my attention because I requoted the guy's tweet and said, I hope they get lifetime banned for this. Because in the replies of that tweet, they go on to say, someone goes, you really got DQ'd for just one proxy that you didn't know was fake? Because of course that's their story, right? And he goes, that they caught, tee-hee.
Oh, that one is worth a ban.
Of course. Another reply from it is someone says, oh, well, what do you think? I really like how this event did it where they had 20 proxies allowed. And the person replies and goes, I played more than 20 proxies in that event too.
All
So
right.
it's just-
Do you own any
just
actual
cheating.
cards?
Just
It's just
cheating for
the love of the game. That's
Oh my
exactly what I
God.
said. Yes.
Oh, disgusting.
I mean, that's just, yes, they're cheating for the love of the game. Ban them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I know I'm slightly biased as an outsider because I have DJ literally 20 feet in the other room. But still, it's like, I have friends that can't afford all the good stuff, but they do, proxies. And just always have to emphasize, don't do counterfeits or anything, and don't do them in places you're not allowed to.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it comes down to, obviously, right?
There's a couple things here. The first of which is the distinction between proxy and CED, or proxy and counterfeit, which we have done to death on this podcast, but just in case you were in middle school the last time you heard it, proxies are very easily identified as such, even inside the sleeve. And you can get those from whatever website you want, and then they will...
Probably from the proxy guy, in my opinion, is where you should go.
They'll have some form of alternate flair or set symbol or lack of a jewel in the bottom to distinguish, or a non-magic back, etc. And then there are counterfeits, which are made to look exactly like a real magic card as possible.
Are made to destabilize the economy, are made to enrich criminal organizations that engage in things beyond counterfeiting magic cards. Go on.
Yeah. The other thing here is the basic misunderstanding of what this event was. This is not a regular Star City Games event where, like you said, there have been 20 proxy, 50 proxy, proxy events.
Well, yeah,
I
don't know if Star City has necessarily run those. That person was talking about a different TO. For what it's worth, but yeah, go on.
Other TOs have
local stuff does the proxy.
Other TOs have run proxy-friendly events. This event, even if Star City does or does not normally do them, this is tied to Wizards because it was a Magic Show or Magic Spotlight series, which is a Wizards of the Coast event that Star City has a direct contract with. So Star City Games has a some number of $1 million contract with Star City Games.
They run all the RCs as well.
Right, and so Wizards of the Coast is never going to allow proxies at a sanctioned event, and therefore Star City Games is not going to jeopardize that contract so that you can play a Lion's Eye Diamond that you would not otherwise afford, because Star City Games is going to do their best to provide other events for you to play at that are more in line with your spending in the game.
And also, that's very well said. In this particular case, it's proven that the 20 proxy rule isn't going to stop everybody from cheating. So I know it's a culture thing, but
it's also like the number of magic. When you look at like the graph of which magic cards cost money and how much money they cost, like once you get past that like $300 mark, which I understand $300 is a lot of money. Once you get past that mark, the number of cards that hit that price is like very, very, very few, right? Like outside of weird alternate nonsense or like poster one ring, like the number of cards that like go above Lion's Eye Diamond that you really, really, really need for CEDH is like so few, such that the 20 proxy limit is like really covers like a vast the vast majority of your budget for that deck. Like you got your Time Twister, you got your Gaia's Cradle, you got your City of Traders, Lion's Eye Diamonds tier cards, and then it drops really, really hard in terms of like...
I don't think there's as many cards nowadays in terms of like expensive to like how good they are anymore. I know that was more of a thing, like 10 years ago, but I feel like nowadays with how many cards are coming out and they are just pushing the power levels of everything, I feel like you don't even need 20 proxies anymore for like a decent commander deck.
That's especially in CD.
World,
to an extent, I mean, 20 proxies will get you there, right? Like, and there are certainly decks you can play that require fewer. So I think the exchange of the person saying, well, what did you think of this event? I really liked they allowed 20 proxies. And the person replying with, oh, I played more than 20 proxies than that event, basically is illustrative of the entire core issue. Who really was hurt there? Was it the TO who got the money from both of those players? No. Was it the player who played all of their proxies? And I'm going to say proxies, I mean counterfeits. No, they weren't hurt. It was the other player who played by the rules and was hurt. And then some of the follow-up was like, oh, well, the TO didn't really care. And it's like, well, okay, but the player who played by the rules probably cared, right? Like the player who didn't counterfeit their cards, they probably cared. That's who is hurt. That's who you're cheating. You're not only entering into a social contract with all the other players, you're entering into a literal contract when you're playing tournaments for money and you're defrauding other people by cheating them. Go ahead.
Say that there are going to be a lot of people who will take his side who also play real decks and use that same argument of like, I want to play against you and not your wallet, and like that's fine, but
not in the sanctioned 5K. It's that simple.
Right, like we can't do that while also playing in an event where people have agreed to the social like. If 80% of the people in this event are cheating, like that's still bad for 80% of the people, and those people should play a different event, not just like break the rules for the sake of the 20% who didn't cheat. Like, no matter how many people in this event are cheating, like that's still against the rules. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if a whole pod of people is like, I'm okay with him playing proxies. It's cool. Like that doesn't matter given the context of what happened.
And a lot of people, and I've been involved. I've been probably the last 4 big CEDH events outside of the 11-hour final I've been at. And there's a lot of talk of this, it needs to be a don't ask, don't tell policy. And some judges are like that. And some judges make it their goal to catch all the counterfeiters. And I'm like, well, first of all, it probably matters which event you're playing at. But also, that's not better, right? Think of this. Like, would you see someone cheating at a game? You should not be like, we've been through this. Is it 1994 with Mike Long? Don't ask, don't tell is not how you handle cheaters, whether they're cheating at their upkeep, their draw step, or in deck construction. It's not okay if you see someone adding cards to their seal deck. You play by the rules with the cards you're allowed to play with that you have, not the ones you've counterfeited. All right, we can move on.
There's also like a very small nest of worms here, but like, it's really awkward when judges aren't like, most judges nowadays I don't think have the skills to accurately detect counterfeits. And there's like a whole conversation that I'm not going to get into about like what the protocol and procedure should be for judges and like whether or not vendors should be involved in this, because like we are the ones most qualified to detect counterfeit cards, but also the people who should be least bothered during the event because we are not incentivized to do so. Like our only incentivization there is to like make the tournament experience better for the players in a certain way, but like whether that's our job in another facet, like I said, it's a whole nest of worms that I'm not really going to get into, but that's just something
that
to
is a consideration. Yeah,
because the average judge I don't think is going to know what to look for.
I think that the judges who tend to be more interested, and I don't want to use the word and who are interested in taking an active interest in policing this, do tend to try to educate themselves fairly well. And I will, just on the note of not particular to any one investigation or subject, judges have a policy of not talking about anything that happens or that they discover in an investigation. And oftentimes the stories that I see put out by players who either got DQ'd or just even in the way they may represent it as the way, and something went down, a judge call went down in round 13 or something, right? As someone who's privy to a lot of behind the scenes information, I'll just say that the stories that get put out publicly from players do not look like the stories that are, told by the people, not stories being told. They are not. What players believe is not always the same as what the people who conduct the investigation believe, but the people who conduct the investigation make one ruling and that's it. They don't talk about it. So I just think that that's important to keep in mind for all of these conversations. And speaking of people who do and don't know what they're talking about, Final Fantasy releases. I got some smiles on that. That was a good transition for me.
Yeah.
We're grading on a curve. That was a good transition. Final Fantasy releases this week. And Emily is an expert in Final Fantasy. Well, certainly compared to DJ and I, because my Final Fantasy knowledge is exactly nothing. I have I have learned lots about what you can and can't say about Final Fantasy, and I've learned very little about what actually is in Final Fantasy. But Emily knows a lot about it, so we're gonna do. If you remember, this was Doctor Who. I think we did it where everyone kind of who wasn't me looked at the cards and was like, "Oh, this is that," and then I explained what they actually were. We get to do it in reverse. DJ and I don't know what we're talking about, and Emily does. So, DJ, Emily, what do you want to break down? Kind of what our plan is here for Final Fantasy. All right, so here is what we are going to do. Emily has compiled a list of some of her, I think what we went for was most resonant cards and characters from Final Fantasy. We're going to look at how they're represented inside the Magic the Gathering universe. DJ and I are going to guess, basically, I mean, we're going to look at the card. That's what we're doing here. It's Magic. But what we think this represents in Final Fantasy. So for those of you who know about Final Fantasy, you can play along with Emily to see how wrong we were. If you don't know anything about Final Fantasy, you can play along with DJ and I think we're going to have some very accurate stories here.
Corbin, I'm a Final Fantasy expert.
What?
I said, Corbin, I'm a Final Fantasy expert.
You are now.
Yeah.
Why is this?
Osmosis.
Because I don't know what to tell you. I'm just built different, man.
And built different. You know about Phoenix Down.
I did a lot of studying while we were prepping for this pot. I know the original bit was like we were both going to come in misinformed, but like I'm going to blow you up the water.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, let's start with Phoenix Down then. This is a 1-mana white artifact that means something to Emily.
Pretty basic.
2 mana, exile this card, choose 1. You can return a creature with mana value 4 or less from graveyard to battlefield tapped. That's actually that's actually broken. What the heck? Well, this card's insane.
Why is it broken?
Oculus, it's 2 mana regeneration for like Oculus. It can also exile a skeleton, spirit, or zombie. What, DJ, what looking at this art, it looks like, what are we looking at? It's like a treasure chest.
It's a very, very
with
subtle
some feathers on it.
It's a very, very subtle reference to the Pokemon Ho-Oh. Not a lot of people know that. In Pokemon Gold, I guess not Silver, but in Pokemon Gold, you can catch Ho-Oh. It has a feather, or it has Sacred Fire. It's got the Sacred Ash. It's got all the Phoenixy stuff, and it comes with an item that lets you revive your whole party. But most people never use it because they're scared of like not using it at the right time, right? And so, like it's a cute little reference to like the original Johto games, and like it brings back a creature just like Sacred Ash brings back your Pokemon, and very, very happy to see this in set.
For sure, that's what it is. This card is broken because. And Jeskai Oculus plays cards like Helping Hand or whatever to return cards for 3 and less to graveyard to play. You get to play this for 1 mana, and then later on, you get a 4 CMC or less directly into play for just 2 mana. That's, to me, wildly powerful rate.
I'm surprised that they kept it, they made it an artifact, which makes sense. Given that it's just an item that you can use in all the games.
A Phoenix Down means a feather.
Well,
what did you think it meant?
I thought, you know how you say like, man down?
I mean, I say that a lot when I need to use a Phoenix Down in a game.
I understand now. A real LobsterCon moment there, I guess.
But yeah, so I think it's the fact that it's an artifact rather than like an instance or sorcery means that, your opponent has a chance to get rid of it before they or before you get the chance to use it. But it's pretty on point with how it works in the game. You basically, like I said, it's just your average revival item. But a fun little tidbit which they kept into the card is if you use it on an enemy, an undead enemy, it does just either damage them or kills them outright.
Huh. Well, that makes sense then.
So, like, my favorite strat in Final Fantasy X is there is a boss you fight that's undead. And the best way to handle it, because you most people don't use the party members, or at least in my family we didn't, that you're stuck with in that part of the game because it's underwater and you're limited to 3 characters. But so the cheese strat was throw 3 Phoenix Downs at the enemy and you win. So
There you go. Good to know. All right, next up, we got a Rakdos 2-drop here, and this one is a character. It is Garland, Knight of Cornelia. It is in the Magic universe. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil 1, it's a 3/2. Then for 7 mana, 3, 2 red, 2 black, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed. And on the backside, it's just a 5/5 flyer that goes on the bottom of your library when it dies. But it's called Chaos the Endless.
yeah. So I'm surprised they made him a 3/2 because he should probably just be a 1/1. Or I guess 2 is fine for defense for something weak. So it's not really a spoiler because, all right, so Garland's the first boss you fight in Final Fantasy 1.
Oh, this is the OG of the OG.
Yeah, and he's the first boss, and you just beat him.
Okay.
So, like, the game opens up, the king goes, hey, I need you to go rescue my daughter from Garland, because he betrayed me. And you go over there, you kick his butt, you save the princess.
Oh, we did it.
And then, 12
The game's
hours
over, we
later, Chaos shows up.
Well, that's why it's called Final Fantasy, because when they made Final Fantasy 1, they were like, there's only going to be one of these. We have reached peak gaming, we have apotheosis, we have reached our enlightened state. The Final Fantasy, they're like, the rest of them are going to be non-fiction. This is the Final Fantasy. The rest of them are like real life, not fantasy.
Do you think it's like the never-ending story? Like, do you think they planned on the never-ending story? No. Next up, this one's got a name right here. This one's got a name. The Gold Saucer. I haven't looked at the art for the card. In my opinion, this has got to be someone working like a takeout line. Got the good sauce.
No. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Oh, all right. I'll go look at the card then. Oh, all right. This is a land.
Corbin, famous guy who knows what a Shamrock Shake is, deciding what sauces are on Magic cards.
It's a saucer, man. Like, at the very least, is it not a flying saucer? There are so many ways to go, but instead it looks like a tree. It's a land that makes you... oh my god, there's coin flips in this game?
Than I think it was supposed to.
Why are there coin flips in this game?
Yeah, there is.
Add mana, 2 mana, flip a coin. If you win the flip, create a treasure, 3 tap, sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. Is this in standard?
I don't know.
This has to be in the commander set.
No, this isn't standard.
No!
We've had coin flip cards in Magic. AFR had dice rolls. What are you talking about?
I hate this.
Good.
Corbin is the guy
you're supposed
who
to hate
thinks...
gambling.
Corbin is the guy who thinks that adding coin flips takes away from his agency in the game, and he should be mocked for that.
But isn't Pokemon TCG just coin flips?
No!
We had this conversation last week. That's what I said too. I got yelled at.
I don't know. I've only seen the coin flips.
That's what I said. Pokemon is coin flips. Cass was just gaslighting us.
We need to stop using the term gaslighting incorrectly.
Nope. You won't gaslight me into using it wrong.
We can just use the term lying. It's okay. None of us are Zoomers. We're allowed to do that. We can just use terms the way we're meant to.
Emily, what is the gold saucer inside of Final Fantasy? If
it's the big mushroom party.
I thought it was got to be food related.
It's not.
Is it a mushroom?
If it was food related, it would make a food token, you dingus.
Oh.
So.
You buffoon? We should bring back the word buffoon.
Nothing's stopping you, hun.
You can't fool me. This is just a building that'll be in Vegas in 2032.
I thought it was a mushroom. What? That's That's a good point.
That is true, technically.
Lots of mini spheres.
Uh,
What is this in the game?
Vegas. It's basically Vegas in Final Fantasy VII. It's just a giant
What?
gambling place in the middle of the desert.
Sure.
There's some other cards not related, but like related to the same place and game with Cloud. He's on the Ferris wheel with his other party members. It has like 5 different arts for each character, but Cloud's sitting in the same position in all of them. But yeah, you go there. It's just a mini game hub essentially. So you just go there to gamble and bet on horse races. And by horse races, I mean Chocobo races.
I'm sure there will be more chocobos to come.
Oh,
All right, next up is
before I
unexpected
scream this track. Ugh.
Yeah, next up is unexpected request. This is I guess they're in a tavern. It's candle lit. There's someone in a red and white hoodie looking down, possibly seductively. Really hard to tell.
It's not a hoodie, it's a cloak.
Okay, DJ. Against someone in like a workout suit, like an armor. It's just a sorcery. It's the threaten effect. You gain control of a creature. It gains haste. You can attach an equipment to that creature, and you unattach that equipment at the beginning of the next end step. So I will say on the magic note that it does have the ability to free attach an equipment for at least one combat, which could be pretty powerful. As for what's going on in the art and what this unexpected request might be, DJ, what do you got?
This is another Universes Beyond plat for Ruby, the Americanized anime, spelled RWBY. That's just Ruby Rose in her different League of Legends skin, or her Fortnite skin. They just added a red and white cloak instead of her traditional red cloak. It's like a Smash Brothers thing. You know how you can be Jigglypuff with like the hats and the Pikachu with the wizard hat. Like this is just Ruby Rose from Ruby with like when you're stuck as player 3 and you're like all your friends have picked the other skin and you're like, well, I guess I'll play the wizard hat Pikachu. I mean, everyone else is just gonna spam. I'm the only one that knows how to use his down smash correctly. And then yeah, I mean that's what it is.
That's what it is.
No, your down smash is your A down. Thunder's your B down.
Oh, whatever. I always get special.
So here's the thing. Confused. Here's the thing: is the person at the bottom of the art is like looking away, not making eye contact with the person above. So like maybe they're making art.
At least he should be.
Corbin acting like he's the one who makes eye contact when he's horny.
Hey.
Oh my God.
So maybe that's the person making the request. And they're uncomfortable.
Please,
so
no,
they're
they are
looking
children.
Away. Oh. Okay, well.
Let me think. They're
pretty fucking
late
buff.
teens.
I mean, the person sitting with the arms are visible with many muscles.
Yes, he's a strong boy. That is a Dane. These two characters are from Final Fantasy IX. And this happens pretty early on. Zidane is actually hatching a plan to kidnap the princess with his theater troupe to hold for ransom for something. No, it's because it was a request from her uncle. But in the art,
this gives like Gilded Cage, Princess in the Tower vibes. Like,
it's always
kidnap me so I can see the world kind of vibes.
It's always the theater kids. Also, I just read the flavor text. I shall hereby do my best to kidnap you. That didn't help clear it up at all.
Yeah, no, so that was the original plan, but then the said princess actually sneaks out of the castle to get on his airship that he's on and asks them to kidnap her for her because she wants to get out of the castle.
Is Cloud on the airship?
No, this is
that doesn't make any sense at all. Named Cloud. All right, next up, Tunberry. All right,
Tunberry, he's just a little guy.
Tunberry. Oh, it is a little guy. He's got a dagger and a lantern.
He's got a knife.
The Salamander Horror. It's a 2-1 for 1. Enters with a stun, tapped with a stun counter on it. It's flavor text essentially here is Chef's Knife, but its rules text is during your turn, this creature has first strike and death touch. Wait a minute, this card's broken.
I'm really glad we finally get to see what League of Legends minions look like unmasked.
Yeah, that is a sense. You're right.
You're right.
You're 100% right, DJ.
I told you I studied, man. I'm a
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
fantasy
that's
expert.
great. That's
You
great.
think the League of Legends known game of like cheaters and toxic people has an original IP? No, they ripped that from Final Fantasy V.
I am just going to add this. Magic has now done enough universes beyond, and we know that they, at times in the past, have been into like some real rogue marketing type stuff. I'm not putting it beyond them to put some like call aheads in their art to future universes beyond.
Oh yeah, just like a
Crossovers.
Jinx spray paint on the wall of a basic island if you look with a microscope.
Yes, exactly that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But also for the record, a 2-1 for 1. So it's going to come into play tapped on turn 1. It's going to lose its stun counter on turn 2. It's going to untap on turn 3, and it's going to attack as a 2-1 with first strike and death touch. I mean, it's probably not actually broken because it doesn't even have death touch as a blocker, and it doesn't attack until turn 3. But what a cool design! I like it.
Yeah.
What is this in the game?
It's really fun. Well, Tom Berry, he's a high level end game enemy.
Oh, but he's so cute.
So what he does is basically what the card does. He slowly approaches one of your party members and then stabs them, and it's insta death.
Oh,
Yeah, that's and he
it's
probably
like that movie.
The fact that he's only a 1 toughness is kind of disappointing because, like I said, it's like end game enemies,
Yeah.
so they're a little typically more tankier. But like overall, I think it's fair. He's just a little guy. He just wants to come and stab you.
All right. Well, here's one that I know DJ and I are going to nail. It's Vanilla Cheerful Icy.
Well, we're gonna do the 3 together, kind of. So
Okay, so it's Vanilla
Vanille.
Chief
Vanille is how you
Cheerful
say it.
Vanilla Cheerful Icy, joined by Fang Fearless Icy. That's good. You don't want to be scared. Okay. And the third one is not an icy. It's Ragnarok. That's a movie. Divine Deliverance. Okay, there's a lot going on with these cards. DJ, what do you think of the icy family?
Pokemon got so much for having a Pokemon named Vanillite. Why
Okay,
did
so we're gonna
Final
make it
Fantasy-
about Pokemon, yeah. Perfect. Did anyone really give Pokemon for naming a Pokemon Vanillite?
Yes, Gen 5 is one of the hatest.
That's
most hated-
insane. Was that Garbage Mon
Yeah,
generation?
What do you mean
Garbodor.
Garbage Mon?
he's asking
I
about Garbodor.
Oh,
being-
is it Trubbish's generation? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no,
What do
actually
you mean?
that's I
Yeah.
understand.
Like as if they're justified.
Well, like I like Pokemon is a black hole to me between like Gen, like I know Gen 2 and then I know like Gen 9 or whatever, right? Whatever like the most recent one is and maybe the most recent one before that.
Corbin, you and I are going to
So
have
if
a
I
lengthy
know about-
conversation.
Okay,
Corbin, you and I
yeah.
are going to have a lengthy conversation later where you will weep at the end. But for now, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy cards.
The point
And
is, they had to have been bad for me to actually be able to like think of it. So you know what? Maybe they deserved that. But go on. Let's talk about the Ices.
Ragnarok is a big reference to the anime record of Ragnarok, which I think more people should watch.
Marvel movie, man.
Huge, cool anime. Way better than Thor Ragnarok or
a
Dark
call
Magician
forward.
Ragnarok or whichever other. Like, I know there's like another Ragnarok from like forever ago where like some dudes had like an idea about like mythology and Norse stuff. Like that one's kind of lesser known, but like everyone really knows the anime, so we're gonna focus on that. Really cool anime where gods fight each other and like a bunch of stuff dies at the end. And this is a 7/6 with a bunch of arms that like has 18 keywords. So yeah, a bunch of stuff's gonna die.
Wait a minute.
Good flavor match.
There's meld in this set.
Yeah,
I get to make
I think
big
it's
cards.
only this card too.
I can make big cards. I love making big cards. In the main set, that would be so cool.
I
No
think it's
way,
only
though.
this card that does that, though, if I remember. At least that
Vigilance,
I've seen.
Menace, Trample, Reach, Haste. When Ragnarok dies, destroy a permanent and return a non-legendary permanent. Wait, this is cool.
Meld is just a very cool mechanic. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, I really liked Eldritch Moon from a flavor perspective, and I know that there's actually a really large contingent of at least the online Magic community that has a really visceral negative reaction to the more grotesque Magic settings and sets. But I'm not going to lie, I liked Eldritch Moon quite a bit. Well, these are cool. So what's up with the IC family and Final Fantasy games, Emily?
All right, so it's pronounced Lucille. It's
That's
from
not how
Final
my
Fantasy
word looks.
13. And I'm trying to remember because this is the game I played years ago and didn't really stick with me. Lucille's, I think, are just like people that get cursed by some sort of god thing, and they have to go and do a mission of some sort. And Vanille and Fang are two party members, and they're actually from not the city. They're from I think it's called Cocoon, is the plains, this area. So they're the only ones that speak with a really thick accent, and I can't place it. But yeah, so it's neat because they get to meld together and become Ragnarok, which is kind of a bit of a big spoiler. But yeah, it becomes a big thing where you learn that they were the previous Ragnarok, so they had done this song and dance before compared to the rest of your party. So yeah, and Ragnarok is supposed to just like destroy the city area thing and just kind of be the end of the world.
The 18-year-old listening to this podcast who couldn't play Final Fantasy 13 when it came out and was waiting to play it this weekend, huge L for that guy. Spoiled on Ragnarok, huge L for the 18-year-old who was probably like 6 when
I want to say
Final
it
Fantasy
happens
13
about
came
like
out.
maybe 60% of the way through you find that out. My memory is very hazy about this game.
All right. The next one up, if I got those last names right, I'm at Quistis Treep.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, hell yeah. What is, so I'm looking at
This is Samus
Quistis
Aran.
Treep. It does
That's
look
cool.
like Zero. That's Zero Suit
I'm
Samus
really
right
glad
there.
that they keep putting things in that a
Smash
Final
Brothers.
Fantasy expert like me knows about. This is Samus Aran.
Bro, wait until we get that Smash Brothers secret lair. It's going to go so hard.
It's also really cool because this is finally the moment where they reveal that Samus is a girl.
Yeah, dude, this is
Not a lot of
100%.
people. Most people call Samus Mr. Metroid.
I mean, Mr.
Maybe back in the 80s.
That's a good nickname, to be quite honest with you. Someone should have really taken that one up. All right, so Quistis Treep is a 2/2 for 3. It's got it's a human wizard. It's got blue magic. When it enters, you can cast an instant or sorcery from a graveyard, and mana of any type can be spent to play it. So, all right, we got a non-flat. It's a really bad Snapcaster Mage.
What do you mean it's... You can use any graveyard
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
and cast any type of mana.
I mean, it's just it almost. I'm not even opposed to, like, I'm not saying it's because it's a bad Snapcaster Mage, it's bad or whatever. It makes the card different, which means it's because it costs more mana up front. It doesn't have flash. It's limiting the type of things you can get, and it's going to cost more mana to do it. It's going to automatically kind of shuffle it into Commander, where it does look pretty sweet. All right, so Zero Suit Samus doing a red elemental or blue elemental blast art, blocking it coming in with a Sue Storm force field. That's what we got.
Yep.
What is Quistis Treep in the game?
All right, so Quistis, she is your first party member you get in Final Fantasy VIII. She's actually your teacher, even though I think she's younger than you. I don't remember how old Squall is in 8, but I know Quistis is only 18. But yeah, she slots in as the blue mage, and I don't think any game before 8. I don't know about 3 through 6 because I haven't played those, but I know in 7 there wasn't really a blue mage mechanic.
What is a blue mage? What does that mean?
So for a blue mage, as opposed to only knowing like your white mage restoration magic or your black mage attack magics, a blue mage copies. So the gimmick with the blue mage is it can learn enemy skills. So that's why with the blue magic effect on Quistis is you could basically take any spell from anybody's graveyard, because it's just basically like saying, oh, she's seen you use this, so now she can use it. Downside, her art doesn't depict her with her weapon, the whip, so that's a little sad, but overall it's nice.
All right, there you go.
I think it's easier to make this card better than Snapcaster in Commander, specifically because there's more ways to give the things flash than there are ways to make Snapcaster target their graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just obviously like you give it 1 to 4, so 4 times the amount of targets. It's probably worth the extra mana and the not flash, right? It's very powerful. I don't, I just look at it and I say, oh, it's a Snapcaster Mage, but that is the big advantage it has over Snapcaster Mage. So, neat little design by them. Next up, side quest, raise a Chocobo. I love the side quest.
This art is even hornier than Unexpected Request.
Yeah.
Do you eat Chocobos?
Those birds want to.
Yes,
Those
that's
birds
very
are
detailed.
stealing. Okay, I have so many questions about the art. Well, first of all, this blatantly reminds me of the Latios and Latias Pokemon card that's like $1,500, where it's 2 Pokemon making the exact same, putting their like heads together, except it forms a heart with their necks, and it looks really cool. Blatant missed opportunity for that here with side quest raise a Chocobo. Also, do you eat the Chocobos?
No.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
look like
Is that
probably
confirmed,
could, but
though,
I've never
or
seen
we-
that confirmed anywhere.
they look like food.
People definitely eat the Chocobos.
Probably. But they're more
They're-
akin to horses.
People
Eat
eat
a horse.
horses, probably.
Do they?
I mean, you could.
Could.
They're
You'd have to
mostly
choke
used to
one
ride
out
on.
first,
And
but
like
you
I said,
could.
in Golden
Trip it.
Saucer, you get a bet on Chocobo races. So you ride them.
Right, and like if the Chocobo breaks its leg and you have to take it out back and shoot it in the head.
That
like-
does happen to horses. If a horse stumbles slightly, it'll break its bone because they're not made to be alive, and then it dies. They kill it. They
Yes,
bred
Corbin,
them to
thank you
be.
for explaining my.
Well, not everyone knows, man. They bred the horses to run really fast in a circle, but it made they got all the like bad legs and shit. So like if a horse, even the most famous, most well cared for horse in the world, like breaks its leg, it's no like putting it in a cast or whatever. That they just kill it. It's crazy. Go on.
I was
After
just
they've
gonna
jerked it
say
off a bunch.
that even if it's not explicitly canon that they eat the Chocobos, they definitely eat the Chocobos because like
They eat
I
the
am
Chocobos.
aware that breeding them is like a mini game and you're like shiny Pokemon hunting effectively where you're just like trying to maximize your odds of getting the different color one.
Golden
And then,
Chocobo.
and then like you have hundreds or thousands of extra like you're not just gonna let that go to waste. You gotta efficiently use that meat to power those muscles. Like, have you seen Cloud? Have you seen like Barrett and what those muscles look like? That's not on a vegetarian diet. They're not.
So do you think
Fair.
do you think they eat Pokemon, DJ?
That's pure.
Yes.
They absolutely eat Pokemon. It's in the Pokedex.
Back to the show, but Jesus, you have to go listen to that after hours, people. Patreon.com/BSB, by the way, is where you can get those. It's worth it. It supports
we
us.
discussed a Mr. Mime recipe and we didn't go into my backstory or childhood. That's the selling point. Like it's
It
a
wasn't
recipe
even sexual.
where you don't learn about my siblings. Or my ancestors. That's what a selling point, right? For as little as 20 to 25 cents an episode at patreon.com/BSB, you too can have access to the Discord server where I will share this recipe without context in the Discord server. You pay us a little more money, you get access to a little more perks. The after hours where I thoroughly voice act the ASMR Mr. Mime recipe is one of the higher perks you can receive from the Brainstorm Brewery Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/BSB. Money, Chocobos, Mr. Mime, Psychic Energy, Deboning, Feathers. Let's
Everything
continue
you
with the
could
show.
ask for, yeah. Next up is Maester Seymour.
No, I'm not done with my Chocobos yet.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. More Chocobo lore. We need it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, fun thing about this card in particular with the artwork and its transform is a blue and green Chocobo make a black Chocobo.
Is that how colors work?
In 7, yes. So, in 7, and like you said earlier, the gold Chocobo is involved as well.
That's a good one.
Gold Chocobo is the highest tier of Chocobo you can breed. But the way you do it is you have to catch a Chocobo and race it in the golden saucer to max rank stats. And then you also have to do it again with a second one. And that one makes, I believe, a red Chocobo. And then you rank that one all the way up. And then you breed that one with, I think, either a yellow. I don't know all the colors. But eventually you go from like the yellow to red to blue to green to black to gold. And a gold Chocobo is able to traverse any terrain. So on the Final Fantasy VII world map, there are certain spots where your airship can't get to. And very infamously, the cave where you can find the, what's it called? Knights of the Round summon. So, which I will have a side note, the fact that the Knights of the Round summon card does not have it as a requirement to play, that you have to have a gold Chocobo token on the field, is absolutely absurd and terrible design.
So as a Final Fantasy expert, I personally am really disappointed that there's no card to showcase the dark history of Chocobo ringing. Famously, Peter Christian Barry, early 1900s horse ringer, who would paint horses different colors. Like he would race a horse, right? And then that horse would do really well, and then he would take a horse that looked similar and he would literally paint it a different color and like manually adjust its appearance, like makeup style, and then he would run the bad horse or vice versa and like manipulate racing that way. Really disappointed that there's no card in the Final Fantasy set that showcases people painting Chocobo's gold with lead paint, explicitly lead paint, that's canon, to like showcase the dark history of people using ringers in Chocobo races.
Also, I'm reading this card for the first time.
Because Gold Saucer is actually located right above a prison in the middle.
Right, and like because it's the gold saucer, you obviously have a lot of gold paint to go around.
Oh, is
which
it
means
like
there would be counterfeit gold Chocobos just floating around the saucer?
Is it like the Golden Nugget? Is it supposed to be the Golden Nugget? Is that why it's called that?
What do you mean by Golden Nugget?
Is that a Fallout reference?
It's a casino in Vegas.
I don't know. When was it constructed?
A very long time ago. It's not one of the super nice ones.
I'm about to say,
All right.
7 came out in 97.
Next up
Yeah.
is... All right, Maester Seymour, 3-mana, 1/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to Seymour's power on another creature you control. For 5 mana, it has Monstrosity X, where X is the number of counters among creatures you control. So this is big in the Commander Counters Matter decks. It's going to be very good for that reason. It looks like a Blood Elf from World of Warcraft. That's what it looks like. It looks like Kael'thas.
Fair.
That's all I got on this thing. There's not much going on the art here. He's got some kind of staff-looking thing that, I don't know, it's just sort of a random collection of spiky things. Oh, he's like definitely like Super Saiyan Blue-ish here, I would say. That's where I'm at.
This is what happens when you breed a green and a yellow Master Seymour, and then you get a blue one.
That's a high tier. It's a rare color of a Master Seymour.
Yeah, this is the shiny Pokemon version. Like if you breed a blue and a yellow one, or a green and a yellow one, you get a blue one.
Okay. Oh, I actually picked this one because last week DJ asked me, "Hey Emily, why does this card have monstrosity? Explain it to me."
That's a great point.
So, with Maester Seymour, he is actually one of the main antagonists in Final Fantasy X. What I believe he is doing in the card art is probably casting all the elemental magic protection spells on himself, because that's how they kind of show up in the game, our little colored dots. Or they're supposed to help emphasize that he's technically dead.
He's dead?
You kill him, but he doesn't perish.
Sorry, Corbin. Spoilers.
Yeah, so the reason he has monstrosity is because in the game, you do kill him, but Yuna, who is the white mage of your group, is unable to perform the summoning, which is necessary to send souls to the afterlife, essentially. He gets saved by some of his own people and gets dragged off. So he is essentially a zombie from the rest of the game. And he has monstrosity, kitty.
Oh, that's an adorable fucking cat.
We have
He's a
4
baby.
How long have you had that?
We have 4 foster kittens.
You're muted.
No, don't come back. Man. We have 4 foster kittens. Oh, a new one. Marianne just put him in the room.
Fun. But yeah. So he gets monstrosity because if your soul isn't sent to the afterlife, you hold on to your negative emotions and become a fiend. And he harasses you throughout the rest of the game.
What if you were a fiend in
doing
life?
What?
Because like I'm a fiend for like some Chipotle, you know?
No, you're not a monster though.
A new one.
You haven't been here when he's been an hour late to the recordings. He's a monster.
Ah, that looks like Zoe. We got Yuki kitties and Zoe kitties. Corbin's kitties. But yeah, and then that kind of ties into another card I didn't put on the list, but there's Seymour Flux.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that one's oh, I have so much PTSD from it. It's a pain in the butt boss fight. I just hate it. I hate it so much bad memories of being stuck against him because I didn't know how to play the game back in 2002.
I was thinking just now that when you play the video game Cars and you play as Miss Fritter, sometimes you have a pain in the bus boss fight.
I don't know who that is.
You watch Cars 3.
No.
Seymour Flux is a it's a
Corbin, you're a pain in the bus because driving this bus is a chore.
passengers. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a counter on Seymour Flux. Do they know how many people are going? Because Flux kind of sounds like butts. You know,
it's okay. That's how I
Seymour
learned about the Seymour
butts.
Butts joke.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
It was back in like 2002. My brothers were asking about.
You know, from
we're
the
talking
movie.
about it.
Yeah, from the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's particularly funny about it, to be quite honest. But man, it was hilarious to like 90s children's movies. What a joke. In the art, I can't even tell what I'm looking at, to be quite honest. It looks like
for which one, Flux?
Seymour Flux.
It is Seymour, but he is a monster.
It looks like
if you zoom in, you could kind of see his little head there in the very middle. He's holding a spear.
That's what I'm looking at? Okay.
Yeah.
What a weird looking
It's a
creature.
giant monster around that holds 2 swords. And what is missing out of this art is a little flying face hugger thing that is also a pain in the butt to your party.
Okay, so hold up. I now see the character in the middle of this turtle-ish thing that he's riding in. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I see.
He like became a statue inside of the monster thing.
It looks like a character from Kiss. But in Final Fantasy.
I guess.
Right? At the level of the art I'm looking at anyway. That's what I'm looking at here. Okay, I really have no thoughts on this card. Why is this card like special though? This is just part of the Seymour Butts storyline.
He's like one of the main antagonists who's a pain in the butt in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
And everything, yeah. So, and like I said, I think it's very flavorful that he gets to have the monstrosity mechanic because of the fact that he does turn to fiends after you initially fight him, and just kind of is a pain in the butt to your party for the rest of the game until you finally finish him off at the end game.
Yeah. All right, checks out. Okay, final one here. Now we get to something I know. Limit Break. That's another Smash Brothers thing. This is all a call ahead to when we get the Smash Brothers crossover. Can you imagine how hard the Nintendo Secret Lair would go when Zelda is put on a Magic card? Y'all, come on. All right, Vincent's Limit Break.
If you spend $600 on a Switch 2, then those Secret Lairs are going to be gone before they're even released.
Yeah, I mean, fun fact for everyone at home, I was looking this up because people were talking about the price of I don't know if it was some secret layers or commander decks, whatever. Fun fact, inflation. Whatever recent product they were selling at $180, that is equivalent to $143 in 2019. And 2019 essentially is like right at the beginning before the pandemic, right? So I know to most adults, it doesn't feel like very long ago, but inflation just in that time, just something to keep in mind because there's a lot of sticker shock going on, not just with Magic prices, but in the world at large. But that's the math on that. It's just a lot to consider. And it might break your limit. And that's why you need Vincent, who will break that limit with tiered. Choose 1 additional cost on this 2-mana instant. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control and has the base power and toughness that you choose based on how much mana you pay. Galleon Beast is 0 to get you a 3/2. Death Giga is 1 to get you a 5/2. Death Gigas. And Hellmasker is 3 to get you a 7/2. So none of them have good toughness because it wants the creature to die. It's going to come back.
None of them are also good band names.
Hellmasker's okay.
Death Gigas is great.
Death Gigas is okay, yeah.
We can do better.
Yeah, I mean,
there's Chaos, which I'm
but
kind of sad isn't on the card, but...
Oh. Well, I was there with the DJs. It does basically come off like bad band names. But that's because we don't know what a Galion Beast is. Galleon
He's right
Beast?
there on the card.
Oh, which was it?
The monster.
The monster thing in the middle, or the monster guy on the right, or the masked monster on the
purple
left?
lion thing.
Purple lion thing, yeah. Okay. This is some. I guess like I was about to say like this art really hits a vibe of just like emo type.
Correct.
But like I also then realized that maybe Final Fantasy inspired that vibe, so it's like actually just a Final Fantasy vibe. I don't know though. Is that what a Galleon Beast?
Wearing my Vincent t-shirt. Oh, well.
Maybe that's what a Galleon Beast is. What the heck does any of this mean?
Do you want to give your expert thoughts first, Deej?
He's just doing a Rasengan, and it's kind of sad that they took that like after Naruto clearly copyrighted it. He's just doing a Rasengan.
What does that mean? Is that like is that a Kamehameha?
Yeah, it's Naruto's Kamehameha.
Okay.
But can only be done at melee range.
But
he's
it's
doing
also
a Rasengan Kamehameha. They're actually taking both. It's double cringe.
Looks like a Samus gun loaded up in Smash Brothers, man. Turns out a lot of people use blue energy blasts. What is a Galleon Beast? We all need to know.
Galleon Beast is just a monster, kind of. So I picked this one because Vince is my favorite character from Final Fantasy VII. But in general, I really love this tiered mechanic that they're putting out on other cards. Tifa's Limit Break has it, which is also really mechanically flavorful because with her Limit Break, it's more like a slot machine. And depending on how many slots you get going is kind of which combo you do for her. But with Vincent, you can only do the one move, and then for the rest of the fight, you can't control him, and because he turns into one of the monsters that are inside him. Because poor Vincent was experimented on and put in a coma for how many years? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of me are 2 wolves. One of them is a Hellmasker. One of them is a Galleon Beast.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I mentioned, I'm a little sad they don't have Chaos on here. I don't think his Chaos is a card at all, so a little sad, but that's okay. We got I'm actually surprised they included Death Gigas and Hellmasker because those aren't really well known. I can give Galleon Beast the pass because that's his first limit, but also in the Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus game, will you play only as Vincent in a almost third-person / first-person shooter, you can only turn into Galleon Beast for your limit break. So, yeah. But
sure, good to know. Huh.
But yeah, it's fun. So when it does die, in the game, if you do ever die while you're in your limit break form, you do just kind of come back as normal Vincent.
I think
after,
that
so.
it seems like, based on your explanations, right, of all these cards we've gone through, they did a pretty good job of just, it seems to make sense for most of them, right? Which is kind of what you want in a set like this. It feels like
Yeah.
a lot of care was put into it.
Yeah, again, with the tier mechanic, there's like fire magic and thunder magic I have seen spoiled. So the more mana you put into it, your stronger your spell is, which again is exactly what happens in Final Fantasy as well with like Thunder, Thundera, and Thunder Daga. So yeah, no, as somebody that's like dabbled in about half the games and then once in a while in Magic, I think they really hit the mark with it. It's fun. It makes me very excited. This is actually going to be my first pre-release in a few years because I just like I want to go. I want to go and see how many
Has there
cards I hit.
been a Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond where the fandom it was intended for felt that the cards did not match up, like mechanically?
I mean, I think probably with some of the secret layers, I think with the commander decks and stuff, they do a great job. I imagine some of the secret layers feel kind of random if we were to go back and look at.
Sure. I guess full sets would be a better. Like, has there been a Universes
No, I
Beyond
think
set
they've done a great job.
where
There's
the
only really
fandom
been-
was like, no, you
Oh,
missed
Lord
the
of
mark.
Rings.
Like, I think Fallout was very good.
Warhammer was good. Lord of the Rings was good. Doctor Who was good.
I was about to say, I think I hear less about Doctor Who out of all of them, but
Doctor Who you hear less about
Was-
because it was just commander decks and not like a set.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say, I think
those
They-
decks
they
are
did it.
mostly
right? Was
those-
the other full set?
No, Fallout has a full set,
Oh, okay.
and Assassin's Creed has a full set too.
Oh, I
But
forgot
Assassin's
that
Creed
existed.
didn't have commander decks, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it was just kind of, I mean, maybe people, but Assassin's Creed just kind of had random cards. They did whatever the right keywords on them and worked out. All right. Well, yeah, Final Fantasy's looking good. Pre-release this weekend. I expect it to be wild. I'm curious to see how it goes. Curious to see if anyone has collector booster boxes for sale at any price, or if it's just a fully sold out kind of thing. So
On
there you
that,
go.
I find it interesting that one of my friends that is super into Magic, his big thing is like, oh, I'm so disappointing in this set because of how expensive everything is.
Yeah.
But the fact that for pre-releases, the collector commander decks, the collector boosters, even the base commander decks, like they sold out almost immediately, like within 24 hours, right?
Yes.
So like
Everything for this set has been flying off the shelves. I fully expect the heat to keep up throughout the summer, and it'll die down later in the year, I think, and we will get some form of holiday second wind of replenishing of the stock of like the regular set. We'll get some sort of holiday bundle. I don't know what to think about the collector commander decks or like the
yeah,
Mhm.
that's a bit.
or like the actual packs themselves, because like again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Fallout boxes are $1,000 or close to it, and that's a thing. And I personally, just part of my business model, just don't mess with speculating on sealed product or holding things long term. So I don't really feel qualified to speak on whether or not you should play the stock market of, oh, buy collector boosters at 6, try to sell them for 9. Like, that's just not something I personally have any vested interest in. So I'm always going to be way more wary of just be the guy that buys collections, and just try to market yourself as the person who will pay 70% of TCG low, 60% of TCG low on lists that start showing up as people empty their bankroll on Final Fantasy of, oh, I spent $2,000 on Final Fantasy cards, now I need to fix my car, and just be the person there with the money.
Because there's going to be a lot of people, like I've watched some of the people do box openings, and even at pre-sale prices, they're losing money when the boxes are $700. So something to keep in mind. It's really golden chocobo hunt at current prices, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean the current prices are going to come down on collector box type product. Because like I had one friend describe it as he thought Like someone mentioned, I think maybe I mentioned this, but someone said something about Edge of Eternities, and they were like, "Oh, I forgot about that." I kind of thought, Final Fantasy was just like the end point, the end game of Magic. I thought it was just kind of the finale. It's like that's how big this feels to people. All right. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for listening. Thanks to Emily for coming in and dropping some Final Fantasy lore for us. Thank you to our sponsor. Go check out MTG Stocks. And if you want to see those picks of the week, they will be going into our spreadsheet that our patrons have access to at patreon.com/BSB. So everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show. Enjoy Final Fantasy. We'll see you next week.